Rotary Club started this in 2001 because we had seen it done in Santa Monica, California in a different variety and thought this would be such a great thing for Cambridge and so easy for us to do. So we've been doing it since 2001, and the first several years we did it as part of Riverfest, but one year the Cambridge Arts Council canceled that, so we moved over to do it as part of Mayfair, and we find there are so many people who come by here that it's really been better for us because this is our major fundraiser. That whatever money we raise from here, we give that back to different Cambridge charities. We're working this year with the Agenda for Children on the story walks that they're doing around town, which are a wonderful thing, and they need some extra funding for that in order to do all the laminating work that goes with that. We've handed out scholarships for kids to go camping, and we have a little committee that reviews all of our grant applications every year. We also hand out what we call mini grants at the Cambridge schools that school teachers who need somewhere between $300 to $600 or $800 to do some project that they can't get funded through the schools can apply to the Rotary Club, and we review those every year, and we hand out $5,000 in that kind of grant too. So it's a way for us to raise money to hand out for our different charitable events. There's a lot of good coming from it, and the sponsors are always more than willing to participate in this because it is such a great event. It's really an art event, and each year the quality of the artists has been getting better and better. We hand out $1,000 in prizes to the artists. We vary it a little every year on how we hand that out depending on the artwork, but there have been some wonderful things produced here. It always amazes me at the end of the day to see what people have created in such a short period of time and to know that it's ephemeral. As soon as the rain starts, it's all over for the chalk. We've had a couple of people who are professional artists who, one year, I think the first year we did that, we had one of our sponsors paid an artist to come and do a square, but most of them, one of them handed me a card, and she's at the Harvard Graduate School of Education, and some of them are students at art schools, but mainly they've seen our ad on the MBTA where we advertise for artists and we tell them there are prizes, and we have a list, an email list from one year to the next, and it's surprised how many people repeat. Actually, most of the sponsors will tell you, please find an artist for me. We have probably 4 or 5 of the sponsors who send their own artist, that's what they want to do. So our job as Rotarians is to find all the sponsors because the artists are finding us. The first year we did it, we had no idea what we were doing, and we got there 3 hours early to prepare and sat around twiddling our thumbs, and so we learned how long does it take to chalk the lines for people, what system do you use for the numbering. We've evolved that over the years, partly because we lose track of which artists do which square. So we've had people who have done wonderful artwork and we don't know who the artists are. So this year particularly we're keeping track of who did it so that we can acknowledge them because we make note cards out of the artwork. Also as a fundraiser for our club. And we haven't been able to acknowledge the artists up until now, unless they happen to be a winner in a given year. And I think it's been, we've done pretty well by the 3rd year in figuring out what instructions do you give the artists on what they're to bring. We also have learned what kind of chalks to use, what not to use. Black, surprisingly, is everybody's favorite color chalk, that when you realize how much they actually use in black to outline, and most of the boxes of chalk you buy don't have black in it. So this year, for the first time, we discovered charcoal briquettes work just as well. Some of them are cartoons, some of them are replicas of Monets or other famous artists. Some are purely out of their imagination. Occasionally it's causes. We tell people no political statements, but we've never actually had to monitor anybody to say that's not appropriate. The other place where you see wonderful things going on is the area where the kids get to scribble. They see the adults doing it and they want to do it. So we've got little special day glow chalks for the kids, and we've learned to send them off in their own little spot now so that they're not in with the primary artists who are working on it. And I think most of the Rotarians who volunteer for this, they love seeing the kids do it more than they enjoy the adults. It also astounds me how many of them at the end of the day are completely covered in chalk. And we've never found a good solution for how do they wash that off. We supply gloves nowadays because you get chalk on everything. We hope that there's heightened awareness that Rotary Club exists and that it exists in Cambridge, because we're always interested in more people joining us. We're an international network of community volunteers, that 100% of what we do is volunteer work in the community, because mostly we're all business people. So we like people to be aware of us in case they're interested in joining with us. But also, we just love that people can use their creativity and make such a fascinating event for 100,000 people to walk by and see, and just remind us all of some of the important things of being human, particularly in bad economic times when you don't want to have to focus on the other side of life. So I think people really enjoy just seeing what's possible.